Alright, people, listen up. The company is rapidly bleeding money. People really didn't seem to like the Wish. The Marvels was a total flop, and is anyone even watching The Acolyte? We need something that's gonna make us money like yesterday. Alright, any ideas? How about another classic Disney movie reboot? We could always cast Robbie Downey Jr. in something. People love to see him. All great ideas. Jerry, what about you? We could try making a good original story that we're actually passionate about, instead of a desperate attempt at a quick cash grab that's thinly veiled as a movie. Alright, anyone else? Worry not, I have a right to save you. Ryan Reynolds? Wait, are you making another Deadpool movie? You betcha! Are people actually gonna be interested in it? I mean, it's already the third one. Oh, don't worry. We know what we're doing. People are gonna love it. Oh yeah? Well, we actually care about the story we're making and the characters we're adapting. Seems fake. I get it. Not convinced, huh? Fine, then I've got one word for you. Hugh. Hugh who? Bless you. Alright, then 2 words. Hugh Grant. Just kidding, he was already humiliated once as that Oompa in that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory musical. No, I mean the other singing guy in a big hat who loves freaks. Hugh Jackman. You're bringing Wolverine into this? Fine, do whatever you want. Wait, I don't need to remind you that this is a family-friendly company, right? So please tell me you don't plan on making it R-rated. Of course not. Oh good, just kidding. Fuck.
So catch me if I fall.
Greetings all life forms, welcome to my channel. I, Milo, will for all intents and purposes act as your host today as we take a look at the movie franchise that's sweeping the nation right now, Deadpool. At the time of filming this, Deadpool and Wolverine has earned over $1 billion at the worldwide box office and received a 95% and a 78% critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think it's fair to say it's an all-around hit. So how come a superhero movie about a character that is arguably not even a superhero is doing so well at the times when the superhero movie fatigue is rapidly gaining speed? Now that's what I want to know. And yes, I did see the new movie, duh, and it was awesome! I haven't laughed that hard at a movie in a long while. Unlike the first two, I would say it was more character-driven than plot-driven. And it was very cameo-driven, but I didn't really mind it. I mean, it was awesome seeing people like Jennifer Garner and Wesley Snipes reprise their iconic roles. And in the end, I think everyone got quite a satisfying character arc that I really enjoyed. But alas, I could sit here and kiss Ryan Reynolds' ass for 20 minutes straight by retelling the whole movie, or I can kiss Ryan Reynolds' ass for 20 minutes straight by diving into why this franchise works and why people love it so much. So let's do that. Okay, let's go. I think the best way of analyzing something is going from its conception. Alright, I didn't mean that kind of conception. In a galaxy far, far away, there lived 2 dudes named Rob Liefeld and Fabian Nicieza, who created the character Deadpool, who had his first appearance in the New Mutants comic in 1990. Deadpool was... Did you really think I'd do the whole thing in this format? Who am I, George Lucas? For those uninitiated, well, first of all, are you lost, hun? Why are you even watching this video? I mean, I'm complaining, and Milo's gonna tell you a story. Deadpool was actually an alter ego of the Canadian mercenary Wade Wilson, who had a quick wit and a sharp tongue, and also had regenerative abilities. Despite first appearing as a supervillain of New Mutants and X-Force, he soon grew into the anti-hero we know today. Due to his growing popularity, he appeared in lots of different X-Men and Marvel-adjacent media outlets, most notably the Cable and Deadpool comic book series. Why is this one particularly important? Well, in this series, Deadpool describes himself as, and I quote, Ryan Reynolds crossed with a Shar-Pei. It is said that after being name-dropped so hard, Ryan Reynolds read the series and it was the very thing that made him fall in love with the character, which eventually led to the amazing franchise we have today. Now, this is not to say that it was an easy road. No. Reynolds himself said that it took him 11 years to make this movie.
Yeah, it's been the best and worst relationship I've ever been in. It's 11 years. 11 years I've been trying to get this movie made.
Love him or hate him, find him annoying or hilarious, one thing is for sure, Ryan Reynolds' love for Deadpool is undeniable. The script for a Deadpool movie was already well in the works when Reynolds was asked to appear in the 2009 X-Men Origins. And well, we all know how that one ended. This became known as one of the worst comic book character adaptations to date. Not surprisingly, since apparently they had no writers due to the ongoing writer's strike and they just kind of made shit up as they went along. And somehow, this is what they ended up with.
But why?
In any case, this put the whole Deadpool standalone movie on a firm back burner for quite a while. Tim Miller, a visual effects artist and director, shared the vision of Deadpool with Reynolds, and together they created a short scene which would later become the highway fight scene from the first movie. Executives at Fox didn't like this footage very much since they were afraid the R rating wouldn't make the movie profitable. So in 2014, someone leaked this footage online and it became a sensation overnight. Fox was overflooded with fans demanding the movie to be made, and according to Reynolds, the movie was greenlit the next day.
The problem was, this footage was owned by Fox and sort of illegal so I know that one of us did it. There's four of us. There's me, Rhett Reese, Paul Wernick, and Tim Miller, the director. One of us did it.
Okay, good. Yeah, all right, good. Yeah, I don't know who did it. Yeah.
We all sort of said at the beginning, someone should leak it. Someone should leak it. So the idea was planned, but I'm 70% sure it wasn't me.
Okay, perfect. All right, good. That's good. That's good odds. That's good odds.
So then, with a modest budget of $58 million in 2016. Deadpool movie finally came out and it was a smashing success, even becoming the highest earning R-rated movie ever of the time of the release. Deadpool is a prime example of passion of actors and movie makers matching the passion of eager fans, ending up with a masterpiece that defies all expectations of the studio execs. And everybody wins in this situation. Movie makers get to make the stuff that they're passionate about, and fans get what they want, and studios get boatloads of money. So naturally, one would think that this is the golden standard in the industry, right? Yeah, no. Despite this proving to be a formula that simply works, for some reason it happens ever so rarely. Beat Craig Mazin, who was able to bring one of the most beloved video game titles of all time, The Last of Us, to television screens because he himself loved to play the game, or James Cameron managing to make 3 out of the top 5 highest grossing movies of all time because he just has a big heart for water, man. On the other hand, time and time again, studios make movies that no one wants to see, that are awful, unfaithful adaptations of their source materials, and that you can feel were written by somebody's left foot on a lazy Sunday afternoon.
But why?
Yes, I did use this meme before and I'll use it again because I want to and you can't do nothing about it.
But why?
Why do studios make these decisions? Well, to understand why something works, we first need to examine why something doesn't. First things first, it's important to differentiate between a bad movie and an unsuccessful movie. There are many movies that are widely regarded as trash but still make money at the box office. Adam Sandler movies are usually regarded as bad and unfunny, yet they earn back quite a sum. Or a god-awful Twilight parody, or even Twilight itself. I ain't proud of it, but I watched the movies and read the books several times. And when I say there's more dialogue in the books than in the movies, I'm not over-exaggerating. And personally, the most offensive example's gotta be The Last Jedi. It was genuinely a bad movie that not only pooped on the Star Wars legacy, but also on the movie that came before it just 2 years prior. Everything that was set up in The Force Awakens was swiftly destroyed, leaving the last trilogy with no clear narrative or character direction. There was no saving it at that point, and the trilogy went down in the history as the worst one. Even worse than the prequels. And that's hard to achieve. It didn't even give us any memes.
Impossible. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
Sorry, I just love prequel memes. Anyway, so just because a movie is regarded as bad doesn't mean it wasn't successful in regards to the box office gross. And this, of course, sends a bad message to the studios. It made money, so it must mean people want more of it, which is not always the case. On the other hand, the opposite is also true. There are many movies at the time of their release that didn't make any money and were seen as flops, but only years later became cult classics. Case in point, the 1971 Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, or even The Fight Club. Many movies that don't manage to bring people to the movie theaters sometimes find their audience at a later date, because they're genuinely worth watching and tell great stories. A good recent example is The Fall Guy. Despite having big names like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt and being equal parts funny, heartwarming, and smart, wasn't enough to make it a success that everybody thought it would be. It didn't exactly flop, but it most definitely stumbled at the box office. All of this is sending a bad message to the studio execs. Don't make movies like this. They won't make you money. Another big reason why there are so many bad movies nowadays is that with the rising cost of movie making, the studios are making sure that the movie they're investing in is as marketable as possible. Remember the last time you bought a product just because you were intrigued by its ad you saw on TV? For example, wanting to buy Skechers just because Snoop told you to? Is it just me? Anyway, that's exactly what they want. It doesn't really matter if the movie is good as long as they can get your butt in the seat. Taking over the public consciousness can heavily increase the earnings, sometimes even being the make it or break it for the movie. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. While both are amazing movies that would have raked cash in anyway, Barbie and Oppenheimer benefited a whole lot from the whole Barbenheimer thing. A lot of people went to watch both movies just for the meme, despite being interested in only one of them. Very rarely does it happen that the hype occurs so naturally. And I don't think it ever happened before, at least not on this scale. I guess you just had to be there. Naturally, studios are trying to replicate such success, even with artificial means. Very often, the need for high marketability means devastating consequences for the quality of the movie, despite them not being the best fit for the role or having awful chemistry with their co-stars. I'm looking at you, Red Notice. Or trying too hard to be relatable or addressing the current issues without actually addressing it. Do I even have to say it? And I know studios get so much shit for all the bad decisions that lead to a movie being bad, me included, but sometimes that might not be the case. Take Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder, for example. Same directors, mostly the same cast, but one is considered awesome while the other one not so much. While Taika Waititi had pushback on some of his crazy ideas on the first one, he was given complete freedom on the next one. Sometimes input from others, be it producers or the higher-ups, can lead to better ideas or their execution and to overall a better movie. The wildest example of this has to be the fact that Ridley Scott wanted the alien to bite off Ripley, the main heroine's head, and then make the final log entry in her voice before heading towards Earth. But the producers vetoed this idea because, dude, what the hell? Imagine if this wild idea actually came to fruition. This means no Alien 2 or 3, and the only thing we would have had is Prometheus, and boy do I not want to live in that kind of world. It's also important to know that making a movie is a really complicated process. As a person who writes stuff myself, I know the best that sometimes when you write something, you might feel like it's the best thing you have ever written, that you are amazing, you are a genius, you are the Marvel Jesus. But when you let someone else read it, they don't seem to share your opinion. And that's fine. Constructive criticism is how you learn and grow as an artist. However, despite a whole slew of producers, other people in the team, focus groups, and test audiences, sometimes it can happen that none of the people involved in the process, or at least not the ones making decisions, see the mistakes that audiences catch immediately. Sometimes the reason why the movie is bad is simply because the studios and movie makers were really delulu. I would also like to mention that very rarely does it happen that studios and movie makers take constructive criticisms from their audience and remake what they had made into something amazing. The best example is the Sonic movies. I think we have all tried our best to forget the monstrosity that was Sonic in the first teasers for the movie. After posting this unnecessarily realistic and ugly version of Sonic, the internet basically bullied the studio to make the whole movie with a more true to form and more pleasing to the eyes version of Sonic. True, reportedly, this decision set Paramount Studios back $5 million, but it was a wise decision since the movie not only ended up being a success, but also started a lucrative franchise. Just a few days ago, the trailer for the third movie dropped with Keanu Reeves as Shadow, and it just looks like so much fun and I can't wait to see it. Safe to say, what seemed to be just another failed attempt at a live-action reboot of a video game franchise ended up as a successful underdog story. Actually, now that I think about it, I did say this is just an example of studios listening to their audience, but now that I think about it, that's the only example of this happening that comes to mind. How interesting. In the end, it seems that despite the answer seeming obvious, there really isn't any magic formula. The sad fact of life is that miracles like Deadpool or Barbie, where the passion of its creators meet the expectations of eager fans to create something not only successful but genuinely good, are few and far between. That's why we have to treasure them when they do happen. On the other hand, I think we should all become more critical of the things that we watch, me included. Is this movie actually good, or am I watching it because the hype on the internet made me watch it? What you watch is what gets made. You as a consumer can inform the studios what you want to see be made. And I know with the amount of new movies being released every month, it might be difficult, but try giving some non-blockbusters a chance as well. There are real gems that genuinely tell human stories that are so worth the watch. Fascinating stuff. I told you. So what about sequels? Don't. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and leave in the comments what you would like me to talk about next. And in the meantime, you can catch me in the galaxy next door. Oh, and for all those wondering what the hell, don't worry, I was going for a cyber glam Martian. If you know, you know.